Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Every time we get together with her, we learn so much about our animals. She has so much insight, and it's not necessarily coming from experience with animals. It's coming from the experience of communicating with animals. Yes, I said communicating with them. Not that I didn't believe that this could be done, but when I experienced it and then got some instruction on how to give it a shot myself, whoa, what an eye-opener. Today, we're going to share little nuggets of information, little things that maybe your dog, your cat, your horse, whatever, would like you to know. And this is all based on over 30 years of animal communication. She's not just a communicator. She's an author, teacher, spokesperson. And on top of all of that, she communicates with animals. It's even those that have passed over. Kate Solisti joins us on the program. How you doing today?
Hey, Steve. I'm good. Great to be with you again today.
I'm excited. Just the last time we got together, we more focused on wild animals and what they want us to know. And today it's our dogs, our cats, pick an animal, and let's start there. Which one should we do?
Oh gosh. Well, let's start with dogs this time.
Sure. And by the way, cat people, we'll be getting to that in just a moment. Don't worry. Horses, we'll get to those as well.
Yeah.
So dogs.
And those three are actually very special, which is why when I was asked to write Conversations with Dog, my first book, I talked to my publisher and I said, I would love to do that. But if I could write Conversations with Cat and Horse, that would really be important because these three species have such a unique relationship with humanity. And really, they taught me that it was all about how to find our way back to love, back to source, back to connection, that those three species deliberately aligned themselves with us in order to help us.
When you say, so I'm intrigued here, deliberately aligned themselves. So are we talking from the beginning of time and it was just an evolution thing where they wanted to connect with us?
Well, that's a really super question. When I talk about deliberately, I'm referring to the higher group mind, which I call the council of cats, the council of dogs, the council of horses. And I think if we want to say beginning, it was more when we were interested in opening ourselves to relationships with dogs. That probably, I mean, it's hard to say which came first, our relationship with cats, our relationship with dogs. But let's say, for example, that with canines, we invited them to our campfires. We would start throwing bones and things to the wolves that seemed friendly. And then, of course, puppies came into the camps. And over time, quickly, actually, dogs became partners in the hunting. And partners, obviously, their ability to bark and alert people to intruders, people that were not part of the community or the pack, was very highly valued. So there's a partnership there that began. And of course, felines, I talk about how cats weren't worshipped in Egypt just because they were pretty and good mousers. When the Egyptians began storing grain, the cats were really important because snakes were getting, let me back up. Mice, rats were getting into the granaries, which attracted really big, nasty, poisonous snakes in Egypt. But who is perfect for hunting rodents and snakes is felines.
Sure.
So the cats hung out in the granaries, same kind of deal. Kittens got loved on and brought into the family. But then those relationships evolved and developed. Horses, of course, were hunted for food first, but then became partners. And so the question of actually when did this bigger purpose begin? Who knows, right? Was it a purpose before we became aware of the partnership with them, or was it before? Was it something again from the beginning? Because of course the story I was told was from the beginning when humans started to find our way apart from nature. We started to walk away from our connection. That's when those three stepped up and said, wait a second, the other animals were like, well, they're going to do what they're going to do. And these three said, they need help.
I was just going to say that. I was just thinking they may have said, no, you need us. You don't realize it, but you need us. Wow. What do we want to know about dogs? What have you learned in your decades of communication?
Well, what's so important is that, there's a lot of dog training methods out there, right?
Sure.
And more recently, there's been, but early on, there was the dominance and control model, right? Which is never built on trust and love. It's built on power over, right? And that was, of course, defended with the incorrect understanding of wolf behavior, which was the lead wolf, the alpha wolf. And so there was a great deal of misinterpretation of actually what made a wolf alpha, which has since been majorly debunked. But a true alpha, and whether this is in a canine family of humans and cats and dogs and everybody, is, and this I learned from dogs, is compassionate, kind, clear, and consistent. And consistent is the big one that humans have struggled with, right? When we're thinking of training dogs, consistency can be our biggest failing. And so
this is so interesting because as you
Okay,
said
go ahead.
it, I take those four or so words and apply it to my dog.
Wonderful.
And, first word, consistency, all of that. And I see him. I really do. And I'm not trying to, but the compassion, the care, he's very consistent. Like, oh my gosh, it's like he's like a clock, right on schedule every single time. He just knows the drill. Every day is the same in those routines, if you will. I don't view him as an alpha, but I guess I didn't know what a true alpha is until you just said that.
Well, again, alpha really, when we're talking about this, we're talking about relationships within the pack, the family. And so what it means in terms of training is that the human, especially, let's start with a puppy. The human needs to be that strong, clear, consistent guide because it's very hard on a young dog or a rescue dog if the human doesn't carry those qualities. If the human yells, or the human, as I said, or you have a family where mom says nobody on the couch and dad says, sure, come on up on the couch with me. Or, the kids, right? There can be a confusing mess. But as long as the human is clear and consistent and kind in their teaching, the more supported and stable and safe the dog feels.
Completely clear. And as anybody, a human would want the same treatment.
Exactly. I mean, this is parenting 101 too, right?
Right.
And we're pack animals. And so our dogs can teach us a lot about that. And so when training a dog, it's also one of the things that I've learned from dogs is you want to be very grounded when you're talking to them, when you're communicating with them verbally. And verbally, this is also another beautiful little tidbit I love, is that when a dog is doing something you're not happy with, you use a low voice. You don't yell, but you really ground yourself. You're going to get in your alpha body, which means you're grounded, you're strong, you're clear, and you say, oh no, uh-oh, oh, buddy, no. And immediately dog goes, uh-oh. Mama means business. Papa means business. That's what mama dog does. When she wants to get the puppy's attention, she growls. She uses a low voice. When mama's happy, it's a high, happy voice. Oh, good boy, right? And people don't get that. The other thing that they don't get is when your dog is doing something you don't like and you go, no, stop. Now you're just barking at them. And I love that when people go, my dog just barks with everybody that walks by. And I go, and what do you do? And they go, stop. No. I go, now what's happening? We're all barking together.
I will say that one word works with my cats and dogs. And the word is out and delivered very low because when, my cats are hanging out in let's say bedroom and it's time to go, daddy wants to go to sleep. It's like out. And they're like, well, all right, I'm going. But they know what it means. And my dog does the same exact thing. But with the low voice, I get it. Even this morning, he wanted to go out. it's too early. That's not the normal time. I don't know, he's like a half hour early now. I don't know what just changed in his schedule, but I just say to him, lay down, lay down. And he's like looking like, all right, I really want to go out. I don't think he really has to go. He does, but it's not like an emergency. It
Mhm.
just, he wants to go out. He hears things going on outside, but I want to get another half hour of sleep. But just saying those words, lay down,
Mhm.
lay down, lay down. He gets it. He knows. So I'm right there on your page with that.
Yeah, and you're using a lower voice. You're not getting worked up. You're just saying this is
Hmm.
how it is. And your
Exactly.
energy is very clear, Steve. That's what's so important. When I talk about grounded, I'm talking about thinking about your feet being on the ground, but also focused. And also, when someone is very clear, their dogs pick up that energy. There's no messing around here. Dad means business. He really means this. It's not like, well, I really wish you would lie down. Can you please stop doing that? That's not helpful. That's just whining. They're just like,
It's
so if
true.
you're not going to be strong, if you're like, oh, can you please go back to sleep? They're going to be like, okay, I'll be alpha here because that's just not alpha behavior. So I'm going to jump on the bed and I'm going to say, let me out.
Somebody's got to be the alpha.
That's it. That's it exactly. And our dogs want us to be. But again, there's a lot of bad information out there. Alpha is the big bad wolf that,
Right.
throws somebody on their back. That it never happens. If a wolf or a dog lies down on their back, they are doing that to submit, to say,
It.
okay, I surrender. Because instinctually, what that's doing is it's opening up your throat and all of your organs to be ripped out by somebody else. So any advice that says you need to throw a dog on their back, you need to turn a dog on their back is horrible, horrible. From the
Unless they
canines.
want to.
Well,
Unless they.
they do it. Exactly. If the
Right.
dog chooses, that's lovely. But there are trainers, some famous trainers, scary, famous trainer in particular, that was on TV that advocated this. And it is dreadful. What it does is it immediately puts a dog into terrible fear that his throat's going to get ripped out. Is that how you want to train your beloved dog?
Mm. I will
No.
say, I completely agree with you. I will say the reason I picked my dog, found him in a shelter when he was 10 weeks. And as I'm petting him in the pen, making a decision, is this the one? He rolled over on his back and I was petting his belly. And to me,
Yeah,
that was that's a really good sign. Like he's comfortable. He's
exactly.
okay with it.
Yes.
And I would never force him to do it, but sometimes now we're on the couch, I'm just hanging out and I give him a little belly rub and he'll go on his belly. He's like, yeah,
Of
man, that feels
course.
good. He loves it. He
That's
loves
right,
it.
because he feels safe, Steve. He feels,
Yes,
he's trusting you. Maybe the very first time you met him, it could have been a little bit of a submissive. I just want to show you that
you were
I'm
right.
I'm not I just want to be loved, I just want to be in a pack,
You're so right.
please.
He did the
And
belly thing,
then,
but guess
yep.
what? Guess what followed that? Brought him home, all good. I don't know if he had a thing for males, like
Mm,
just not totally trusting. But I was the only one, everybody else female in the home. He would bark at me and he would stand off like he'd be just like I think he wasn't comfortable with me.
mhm.
I got on all fours and I would be down at his level and eventually took a few weeks and I was a little worried to be honest with you. After the belly rub, we're all great. He loves it here. He didn't seem like he was completely comfortable in the beginning until I was at his level. I guess I had to be a member of the pack. I don't know.
Well, there's different ways of that can be interpreted, right? Because again, depending on how insecure he is, being on his level could be indicative that you're really not in charge. But clearly, you had in your mind, and this is the important part, is what is our intention? Because dogs, cats, horses, all animals pick up on this. We
Mm.
have the saying dogs smell fear. Well, they smell everything else. They smell kindness. They smell an eagerness to be our friend, their friend, an eagerness to get along, a desire for them to feel safe and to learn to trust. They get all of that they pick it up biochemically. They can smell it. They can feel it. And so when you did that, your intention was, buddy, I'm not a threat to you. I just want to love you. I'm just here.
Hmm.
I'm the guy in the house, but you're going to be a valued member of the pack, right? That's what you were sending him, no matter what it was that you said. That was your posture, correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's what he got. That's what he got. So
Yeah.
that intention piece is so important in our every communication with dogs. I want to add one other thing about dogs, and maybe we just focus on dogs today because we're burning through time. Is the after the fact debate. Okay. This one is so important because people are so get this wrong most of the time. So the after the fact debate is if you come home and your dog has chewed your favorite pair of gym shoes, but you don't see them in the act, you think, oh, shoot, there's nothing I can do about this but throw away the damn shoes and be more careful next time. Wrong. Wrong. That you come in and you're like, oh no, my favorite shoes. And your dog's like, uh-oh, what's going on? What's going on? Oh, she's really, or he's really upset about the shoes. What's happening? And then you take the shoes away and they're like, huh? Now, what you do that makes sense to a dog, as I began our chat, was, oh no, oh buddy, my shoes, oh no. And he's immediately going to go, uh-oh. Now, here's the next really important piece. You go get a toy and you take it to him and you go, oh, buddy, good boy. Always chew this. Always chew this. Good boy. Good boy. And he's like, oh, I get it. These shoes are a no, big no. Mom, dad's really upset, but the toy makes him or her really happy. I got it. Done. Now,
Wow. They will make that connection?
Absolutely. Because you got to tell them why you're upset and what you're upset about. And this is critical in potty training. All right. Same thing.
Wow.
People are like, I didn't catch him in the act. There's nothing I can do. Wrong.
Or the other part is it looks like or feels like to, their person, the human, that you're rewarding them. Oh, here, take the toy. That was great. You did. It's great to here.
Not if you do the first part. You got to do the first part,
okay,
which
gotcha.
is show them you're really upset about the shoe. That's the no, right? That's the low voice. Oh, no.
So
no,
can
no,
I
no.
share a situation I'm in with my dog right now?
Uh-huh.
And it's kind of in the same territory. I'll take him out first thing in the morning, spend, 10 minutes, 12, 15. I'll come in, I'll get dressed, I'll come downstairs. Fortunately, I have no carpet. He'll poo on the floor. I already took him out. Why couldn't you have just done it when we were outside? And I know that if I spend 20 minutes with him, 25 maybe, I probably would go. But I just don't have that time, especially fortunately it's getting warmer out, but in the winter, it's freezing out. Just go, I'm doing my part, do your part. How do I encourage him to go to the bathroom when he's outside?
Okay. Now there can be a couple different things going on here, at least, Steve. One is he needs more exercise in order to poop. Okay. That's one thing. So like you say, if it's cold and you just want him to get out and do his business, he just got up too. He hasn't moved around. There needs to be some peristalsis, right? I mean, technically it's better for him maybe to eat first, unless, that may be something you need to find out. That could be one thing. Okay. Another thing is he wanted to spend more time with you, so he was upset, but it's more likely a physical thing. But you also wanted him. So how do you handle it when he does that? What do you do when you find a poop?
I don't even know what to do anymore.
Okay.
Really
well, don't. One of the things that you do, and this is true of puppies and it's true of anybody who's doing this, is you pick it up, you go to poop with a paper towel and go, oh no. What's your dog's name?
Tanner.
Oh no, this does not belong here. Come on. And out you go. And you're using a good come on voice, so he knows you mean it. And you put it where it needs to go. And again, you say, good boy, always do your business outside. Good boy. So he gets the no and the yes. Okay. We do a lot of no's and then we don't tell them what the yes is. So, but again, I would be concerned that maybe it is a physical thing with him since he's not a disobedient dog.
No.
He's not trying to challenge you. So it could be the timing is too short for him to just have the, peristalsis.
I'm leaning there too. So how many people say, after I go jogging, I go to the bathroom. It's great.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, this is a real important thing. Is we have to remember there, he's not, it's amazing to me how often people say he's doing this to me. He's doing this on purpose. And they do this with horses all the time. Why won't he take that lead? Why won't he go to the left? Why is he being so stubborn? What is his problem? Mostly it's pain. 9 times out of 10, it's pain with a horse. And that makes me crazy. It's like, why are you assuming this horse is just giving you a hard time? But people who really love their horses really want to get to the bottom of it. I've had him checked, because often they're smart enough to go, okay, maybe it's pain. I've had it checked. I can't find anything wrong. That's why they call an animal communicator. We can't find out what's wrong. Can you help us? And that's checking in with the horse. We have just a few minutes, so I'm going to switch just a moment to horses, if I may. Is that okay?
Please. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I'll tell a story. So I have a client in England. Now I'm in America. We're on the phone. And I have actually met this horse in person. His name was Brock, and he was a big Irish cob. And so my client called me and she said, he is limping and we can't find anything wrong with the pastern, the ankle and hock, the knee. We don't know what's wrong. Can you tell us what's wrong? Can he tell us what's wrong? So I tuned into Brock, and interestingly, he just flashed a picture to me because much of what I receive is in pictures, especially when we're trying to find out what is wrong. Where is that problem? Is it in your hock, in your shoulder, in your, where is it? And he flashed me this picture. First it was my hoof. My hoof is in pain, and horses have this V in their hoof and the inside's called the frog of the hoof. And it's very tender. It's a very sensitive place in their hoof. And so there's a hard part around, but then there's this sensitive part in the middle. It's very important for lots of reasons. So he's showing me that it's his hoof that is sore. But then he shows me flashes this picture, and I see something sticking out of the ground that looks like a pipe. And I said to my client, is there, first of all, it's his hoof. He stepped on something that hurt his hoof, and he sent me this picture. And I go, and she says to me, can you ask him where it is? I'm like, okay, I'm in England. I'm in America. She's in England. Okay, I'm going to try. And he goes, southeast corner of the pasture. Okay. So lo and behold, she goes out to the pasture, and it had been very wet and a lot of storms and a lot of branches had fallen down, and then it got dry. So what happened was it wasn't a pipe, but it was a part of a branch sticking up through the now hard earth that he stepped on funny and just hit the frog just wrong. And she found it. She said, I found it. It's it's at a bad angle. And and the horses were under the tree looking for stuff. And so it was his hoof. And that's how he showed me.
Wow. Oh, I feel so bad for that horse just stepping on that.
He was okay. I mean, he just bruised it. It wasn't badly injured, but the importance of working with an animal communicator, because they were going to do all this stuff with his knee or the ankle, the pastern area, and that was not the problem. And he didn't need a whole, any injections or anything like that. He just needed time for that hoof to heal.
So when you got that revelation from him, did he tell you what it was, or he just said where it was located and then his person went out there and found it?
Yeah, he just flashed me this quick picture of this thing sticking out of the.
Oh, you did? Okay, so
ground.
he did show you something sticking out of it. Okay.
Yeah,
wow.
But it was really quick, and I was like, Brock, what else? And he's like, well, that's it. I'm like, okay. Yeah.
Look at how much anguish, emotion, and also expense saved from a situation like that, because now you have to transport him to the vet. You got all these tests and imagery, invasive potential, all of that for naught. And of course, the expense of all of that.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. Yeah, so and that's an animal communicator who has the ability to look at things also like a medical intuitive is an asset. It doesn't mean he or she is the final word. The vet needs to do what they do. We're not diagnosing. We're just giving our impressions from the animal. This is the place to look. This is, and again, my client checked his hoof, and indeed, that's where the tenderness was. She just didn't take my word for it. She had the farrier come and check, and Brock was like, "Oh, yeah," with his pulling his foot back. So, yeah, you work with all your team. An animal communicator should be part of the team, with the vet, with the trainer, with other healers you're working with, but together. Yes, we can save a lot of money in tests and in the unnecessary tests because we can help zero in on where and also with surgery, where are we surgerizing the right place?
There's so many aspects to the communication with animals. Just the insight, today alone, invaluable. I may be poop free soon. This could be.
I hope so.
But even just, and I always forget about this. But I feel it bears mentioning. If you have a rescue, you don't know what their life was like before. And that could actually dictate how they act now.
Absolutely.
And you can get those clues. And of course, the guidance from you. And of course, animals that have passed over. There's another aspect. So many. Amazing. And you've been doing this for a while.
A while. Yeah, 33 years.
There's a place for the veterinarian.
Absolutely.
There's a place for there. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But you can provide insight that maybe they can't provide or in conjunction with them.
Thank you, Steve. And I would like to say in conjunction with, and there are some fabulous holistic veterinarians. There's the American Holistic Veterinary Association. American Holistic Medical Veterinary, AVHMA. That is where you can find a holistic vet in your area. And they often work with animal communicators, or some are animal communicators themselves. So this is critically important that we're not taking their place at all. We're working with them. And so, yes, people can find me at katesolisti.com. That's my website. Talks about my one-on-one sessions, my Harmony Pack membership, workshops, seminar, all the things that I'm up to. And I would love to have people come and visit with me and get to know more people and their animals.
Yeah, make that connection. It is we love our animals. They are members of the family. If you're missing communication, you're missing everything, and it's all right here. Thank you so much for today. Super cool. Maybe next time we'll do cats.
Okay, that'd be great.
Excellent.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.